What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Chill, where I, Graham Jason Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network. Today we're talking the August 10th, 2020 edition of Raw Talk, as it aired last night on the WWE Network immediately after Raw. So for the fourth consecutive week, we've had Charlie Caruso and Char-Truth hosting the show, not Samoa Joe. So I assume that's a permanent move. I know they sometimes tape Raw back-to-back. They're going back to doing live programming, I believe, around SummerSlam weekend. So again, I know they tape these shows back-to-back sometimes. If Char-Truth is on one, he's very likely to be on the next. But it looks like because they've now had him on for 4 straight weeks, he's the new permanent co-host for Charlie Caruso. And I really like Char-Truth. The shows are more entertaining with Truth, and I love me some Samoa Joe. The shows aren't really to be taken seriously with Truth as the host. He doesn't really have as much, not experience. The guy's been around for over 20 years at this point. And he doesn't have as much insight on certain things as Samoa Joe would. So there's certain strengths there. Truth is very entertaining. It brings out that entertainment aspect in all of the guests. So there is that. Before they go any further with their first guest, that being Bianca Belair, Truth and Charlie talk about Truth just winning back the 24/7 championship on that very show on Raw earlier on in the evening. And how he's kind of got his head on a swivel and, whatever. And then Charlie brings up, I got to mention this to you, Truth, that there was someone on Twitter who called us Char-Truth. That's our, tag team nickname, whatever. And Charlie seemed to love it. Truth, not so much. I think Charlie more so appreciated the attempt that someone tried to give them a name, and not so much that the name was good. Because Truth was like, it's a name, it's not too good. It sounds like I'm having barbecue, which isn't a bad thing, but not exactly a great name. So she encouraged everyone on Twitter, the thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people watching Raw Talk, to go come up with a new name for their duo here on the show. They also discuss Randy Orton attacking Ric Flair at the end of the show, which was an absolutely excellent angle, by the way. Fucking love that angle. It was a great ending to the show. I thought they did a phenomenal job with it. And when Charlie asked Truth, what can we expect from Randy Orton going forward, coming off this latest attack, Truth said, expect the unexpected. So they also talk about how Truth also talks about how Drew McIntyre is a fighting champion, and how he has his hands full with Randy Orton come SummerSlam. So they then transition into their first guest, that being Bianca Belair, who has a quote-unquote Zelina problem. And I don't know if they mentioned the Twitch thing. I don't think they mentioned that on Raw, how Bianca Belair interrupted Zelina's Twitch stream, broke into her house, quote-unquote, and interrupted the stream by brawling with her. That was great. That happened, I think, on Saturday or Sunday. But, so she hopes that Zelina learned her lesson after beating her on Raw earlier on in the evening. And then Charlie, again, for the second straight time, asks Bianca how Montez is doing. I think she asked how he was doing a week ago. She asked how he was doing earlier on in this show, backstage, during an interview, and then she asked again here. And you can clearly tell, as a character anyway, Bianca's getting sick of being asked about how Montez is. It's very nice for her to ask to see how he's doing, but she gives the same answer. He's strong. He'll be ready for SummerSlam. I don't know why you keep asking me that question. He will be ready for SummerSlam. Don't worry about it. And Charlie, just being the nosy person that she is, and she comes up with some pretty terrible questions, I will say. So I don't disagree with Bianca there. She didn't say that she comes up with bad questions, but she kind of alluded to it when she kind of said, why are you asking me the same questions? I've already answered this, and I completely agree. And then Truth, as Bianca's walking off the set, he goes, Pepto, use some Pepto for Montez, which got a fucking pop out of me. That was great. And then before they welcome on their next guest, that being Shayna Baszler, Charlie teases to Truth that someone might be coming for his 24/7 championship. Kind of makes fun of the fact that he's always on his toes. Someone might be coming for that title. And she even asks him, who do you think is going to be gunning for that championship first? And he said, I'm just weary of everybody. Regardless of who they are or whatever, I am weary of everybody in this role. I mean, the guy knows better than anyone, considering he is now a, 38-time 24/7 champion in the last year and a half. That's completely ridiculous, but completely like Truth as well. So the first thing that Shayna talks about when she comes here on the show is putting fucking tartar sauce on fish. Because they were talking about Shayna being in catering the last time that she was on the show, 2-3 weeks ago? It feels like yesterday. But that was when they made Shayna crack. That was hilarious. And she almost laughed here, too. It's amazing how much Charlie, and specifically Truth, laughed at Shayna here, because it's just so funny talking about fish. They went on fish. They went on the topic of fish for a while. They were talking about that topic for quite a bit. So she's talking about why would you put tartar sauce on fish, blah, blah, blah. And you could really tell that she wanted to laugh, especially at the end. You can really tell that she really wanted to laugh, which was great. So anyway, getting back to business here, she mentions, and she says this, word for word, Raw Underground, which is where she appeared on Raw this week, is finally where I can show the uncensored version of me. Just to go out there and beat the living shit out of people. She doesn't mention that. She doesn't say that, but that's me filling in the blanks here. She says that she's on cloud 9 coming off her Raw Underground appearance on this show. And she gets a little serious. She gets a little pissed when she asks Char-Truth, why haven't you asked me to be on your game show yet? And Charlie, not really, helping out the Truth situation at all, goes, well, you did ask Dolph Ziggler the last time he was on the show a week ago if he could be on the R-Truth game show. Why didn't you ask Shayna? And he really doesn't have an answer for her. So anyway, getting back to the Raw Underground stuff, she says, all the other women, they put on makeup and they put on this front. They got to put on these girly attires, blah, blah, blah. When I step in that ring, that's when my mask comes off. And I can just go in there and be myself and just fucking destroy people. And that's where I'm fully unleashed, she says. And she really needed that. What she had on Raw Underground, beating the shit out of those 3 women, is what she desperately needed going into that show, and she got it. And then she threatens to take R-Truth 24/7 championship as they go off the air. She's like, listen, back off. And you can't see it right now, but she was getting closer, back off, whatever. It was just great TV. R-Truth is so entertaining. It's hard to take the show seriously. Charlie Caruso just annoys me to no end, and it just may not be her fault. Because when she comes across like a normal human being, she's fine. But when they give her the scripted shit and the questions, she's no Renee Young, let's put it that way. But R-Truth makes this show bearable. The Shayna stuff specifically was just amazing. So check out this week's Raw Talk for August 10th, 2020, right now on the WWE Network. And thank you guys, as always, for checking out my reviews of the show. I appreciate it. Be sure to check out all my other Raw Talk reviews here on the channel, and the Raw Talk reviews playlist in the description box down below. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content. Episode, I think, 350 of #AskGSM coming up tomorrow here on the channel. WrestleRant Radio excerpts on Thursday. The WWE Timeline, Whatever It Takes episode review going up on Friday. SmackDown is my Saturday, Saturday is my SmackDown review. Kind of got that mixed up there for a moment. And then Sunday is my R-Truth game show review that actually went up today on the network. That review will be up on Sunday. That's called Tag Team Treatment. So anyway, guys, have a great rest of your week. I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.